Welcome back to the broadcast. This is Inside Politics here on KTN News, Kenya's premier Sunday morning political program. We're talking about the battle for Nairobi. Mark Bichache, let me come to you. Kipchumba has raised several legal issues that have had questions raised about the Nairobi Metropolitan Service and how it operates. And the governor, Mike Sonko, has said that 5 months that NMS has been running in Nairobi has been a wasted 5 months. What is your take on this?
Then I cannot agree with Sonko because, as you know, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. The people of Nairobi have experienced better service. If you ask the people of South B, they've finally gotten water after many years. If you talk to the people who walk the streets of Nairobi, the streets are cleaner, they're better lit. This whole thing, the person who's bringing the political side and feeling like they're losing clout is Gideon Buvi Sonko. The people of Nairobi, on the other hand, are experiencing the best services they've ever experienced. And the other complaints that people are having, especially on the political class, are simply issues of a technocratic nature. They're talking about, this contract, who is going to supervise this? Those are not the issues that the Kenyan people are concerned about. The people of Kenya are concerned about service delivery. And trust you me, for as long as we have better services within a properly structured legal construct, this other ethereal concept of Senate versus MCAs versus who's going to pay for it, really, all those taxes, including the Nairobi County revenue, is paid by the people of Kenya. And if the people of Kenya, through the elected representative, the president, have decided that the NMS is the best way to go, then the people who are trying to bring it down are doing it simply for selfish political reasons. That's the bottom line, and that's why every speaker here has not stated what NMS has done to contravene the rights and the privileges of the people of Nairobi.
Ben Muller, talk to us about the governor's stand concerning development record of NMS.
Ben, as I go back again to Mark, because I seriously get very entertained when I listen to the kind of sentiments people bring to national TV. When you talk about development by the NMS, for example, I find it a bit awkward or absurd that people can consider placing colored pavements or cabro works in the CBD as development against the transformation that Governor Sonko has delivered in Nairobi, and suddenly now NMS is doing anything in this city. Governor Sonko is the first leader since 1907 to build fire stations in Nairobi. There has been leaders in City Hall since 1963. Governor Sonko made a transformation in the healthcare sector. He is the first leader to do roads in Nairobi that has never been done since independence, and we have all that evidence. But suddenly people place cabro works in the CBD, contracts that were actually even undertaken by the county government of Nairobi, and suddenly now Mark and company think that NMS has achieved anything. What we have been treated to by the NMS, at least we have seen tens of thousands of Kenyans who have been evicted during COVID-19 and left in the cold, in the streets, to their own destiny with their own God. Right. But now, one thing we have to really agree, and that's why the governor, and I can authoritatively say this, the governor has never had any specific problem with the NMS. The governor has a problem with people refusing to follow the law and do what the law expects of them, including the basic document, which is a deed of transfer, a 2-page or a 3-page document. They can't even adhere to that. And again, I also want to correct a position that Kipchumba posited, that the Nairobi City County is the one that is supposed to finance the operations of the NMS. The deed provides clearly that the funding of the transferred functions shall be either from the county government or from the national government or from both. And one of the key things that should have been practical, if indeed NMS is keen on enhancing services delivery to the people of Nairobi. We have the Ministry of Transport, for example, under CS Macharia, that has a budget of excess of 400 billion shillings in a year. As I indicated earlier, Nairobi currently, to fix the infrastructure, requires anything in excess of 50 billion shillings. Right. It would be better to have a scenario where the Ministry of Transport, because now this functions under the national government, to allocate even 50 billion shillings so that we can get all these roads done in a year. The theatrics that we are being treated to, where even the DG now is competing for county property with the governor, those are sideshows. Those are political sideshows that are not adding value to the people of Nairobi. Right. It is important we focus to the real content of what we are supposed to be doing, and if indeed they cannot do they cannot undertake their mandate within the confines of the law, as I outlined earlier, then the governor has no qualms at all. He still possesses his mandate based on Article 180 of the Constitution. Let's terminate this thing. Let Nairobi go back to where it was, and we continue the transformation agenda that the governor had. It's a story we are continuing to keep an eye on here on KTN News, and we're asking you what you think about this. Be sure to tell us on our conversation online, and the hashtag is Inside Politics. You can tweet me as well at Ben_Kitili or at KTN News Kenya. What do you as a Nairobian or as a Kenyan think should happen here in terms of who should run Nairobi? Should this transfer of functions be terminated? Tell us what you think. Let's switch to something, to a related issue now. Power wrangles within the Nairobi County government, as well as the County Assembly, are threatening to derail provision of services to Nairobians. Like we have been reporting, on the one hand, Nairobi Governor Mike Sonko accusing the Nairobi Metropolitan Services Director General, Major General Mohammed Badi, of sabotaging his work, while the County Assembly Speaker, Beatrice Elachi, is engaging in yet another vicious fight with Nairobi County Clerk Jacob Ngwele. Take a look.
Do swear solemnly, affirm that I shall always, truly, diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Clerk of the County Assembly in Nairobi City County.
So, Mheshimiwa Kirago, Nairobians have been treated to a lot of drama concerning the county clerk, Jacob Ngwele. He was removed from office, he was reinstated. There was a fallout, seemingly, between himself and the County Assembly Speaker, Beatrice Elachi. Now the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission has said that he is legally in office, but the Speaker says, has vowed not to, accept that, to reject that reinstatement. What is the genesis of this row that has been quite consistent in the County Assembly?
I think, first of all, we need to bring to the attention of the public and everybody that when Beatrice Elachi was elected as the Speaker of the Nairobi County Assembly to date, that we've had 4 different clerks of the county. 4 different clerks of the county, including Jacob Ngwele.
All right.
Ngwele was actually and procedurally removed from the assembly by Beatrice Elachi. And it is very, very interesting and very, very sad, in my opinion, that one Gishana, the new purported clerk, an auditor who works with the Nairobi City County government, can actually even dare to even take an oath of office, knowing the drama and the acrobats that are around that position.
Right.
One, Beatrice Elachi has decided not to obey the law. She has decided to ignore court orders. She has more than 10 court orders that she has decided not to obey. She has also decided not to obey political parties that put her in the position that she is in. She has disrespected members of the County Assembly. And it is interesting, but that is the word that we can use, that she has even gone against the County Assembly Service Board. The majority, the County Assembly Service Board has 5 members. 3 have said no, this is not the clerk, that is not the procedure, you have interests.
So is a problem between the two of them personal rather than professional?
I don't think it's a problem between the two of them. I think the problem is Beatrice Elachi. She wants a clerk, she wants a majority leader of her own, she wants a clerk of her own, and if left unchecked, she will even decide which MCA she's going to work with next election, if she's going to be the Speaker. And it is also good to, because we've also heard that she has decided that the county assembly goes virtual. Before it went virtual, she has decided that the county assembly will only accommodate 42 members. 42 members with the social distances is not the number that the county assembly, we have a very big county assembly.
So I have been following this, and I get the feeling, and I see that for her to do this, she has to be supported by a section of the county assembly, doesn't she?
Yes, a section could be even 2 members. So yes, a section of the county assembly is supporting her. I don't think she has more than 6 members who are supporting her. What she has done is she has even gone against the law and invited the police and the GS, General Service Unit, into the chambers to harass and intimidate members not to even enter. For example, myself, I've had for the last almost 20 sittings, I've not been able to access the county assembly simply because she has a list of members who are allowed to enter the chambers. And this happens with the police and some hired goons who she places in the corridors of the assembly. So that is the person we are looking at. And she, when she has made all these mistakes about the clerk, she has now pushed the assembly into virtual. Citing COVID-19 and I don't know, Corona. But we want to remind her that Senate is sitting, Senate will continue sitting, the Parliament is sitting, and all the county assemblies are sitting apart from Nairobi County Assembly. We want to remind her that we are the county assembly members, we have a say, we elected her, and we will make a decision when we sit down as members of the assembly.
Thanks for the background on that information. Before I get to the other members of the panel, I want to just take a look at what has been happening with that story in the county assembly. Our Nicholas Wambua has been keeping tabs for us.
It appears as if wrangles within Nairobi County may not be over anytime soon. In the county assembly that has over the recent times seen wrangles and fights, the Speaker Beatrice Elachi is now engaged in yet another fight with a section of MCAs. Their beef being the return of County Assembly Clerk Ngwele, who was returning to his office for the first time today after a long absence.
The Ethics and Corruption investigated my recruitment for the last 7 months, and they have issued a letter dated 1st July saying that my employment was proper and there was no irregularity about it.
Early this month, the EACC cleared Ngwele as a bona fide clerk following a protest from Elachi, who were termed it illegal. But Elachi is still not satisfied.
He's no longer the clerk. He has no orders to hold to say he's the clerk of Nairobi County Assembly. He is not even supposed to derail and bring in the issue of Central Bank. We are in court. Central Bank agreed with us.
But even as the county assembly deferred over this, Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko was on the other side engaging in another fight with NMS DG Mohamed Badi, the bone of contention being the official governor's residence in Lavington. The governor, through his spokesperson Ben Mulwa, has hit out at the NMS over the issue.
In his outrageous remarks, he alluded that since lands is a transferred function, then the house also belongs to him. These utterances can only be informed by unprecedented levels of ignorance on his part, and in line with the dangerous trend that he has formed to disregard the Constitution of Kenya. It is actually through this particular statement that the governor wishes to state that he is committed to record a dispute with immediate effect as provided for in the deed of transfer, to initiate the process of terminating this deed of transfer.
Sonko's office and that of the newly created Nairobi Metropolitan Services have been at war over the deed of transfer of functions signed between the two organs early this year, something that does not argue well with the running of the county's capital.
Dismas, let me come to you. Yet another issue in the county of Nairobi, your county, that is apparently derailing service delivery to the people. What is your take on this drama inside the National Assembly, the County Assembly rather?
Well, you see a person where you've got a few elements within the Nairobi County, both in the government as well as the Assembly, who have a very low appetite for service delivery. Like, for instance, we've been told times above number that NMS for the last 5 months, it's been a wasted time. So the big question is, who actually defines these wastes? Is it the the Nairobi County Governor, Mike Soko, who defines what a West is. And if he says that the last 5 months have been a West, then what about his first 3 years of administration? Would you say it's a success? And you know, really, what the Nairobi residents is looking at when they look at the scoreboard, they want to see results. They don't care whether it's a NMS, they don't care whether it's a Soko who is delivering. And when you speak to many people, even an average man on the street, when they see the Cabro works, when they see the balls which have been sunk all over Nairobi, they are generally happy that NMS is actually doing a good job. They're not interested in the details. Now, the same happens with the county assembly. When Elachi and Ngwele are engaged in catfights, you begin to wonder that these public servants, are they supposed to be fighting each other or delivering Nairobi? You know, the amount of energy that Governor Sonko is using to fight General Badi, the amount of energy Ngwele is using to fight Elachi, if they were using that energy to fight garbage collection in Nairobi, ensure that all garbage is collected, to ensure that we've got safe drinking water, to ensure that the pavements are clean, to ensure that Nairobi generally is a world-class city where everything works, people would be very excited. So there's no doubt in my mind that they're pursuing selfish interests and sacrificing the interest of the Nairobi residents. And at this stage, we must call them out. And I send my commiserations to Beatrice Delachi, who seems to be dedicated to serving Nairobi, but she's meeting all these roadblocks. When you interact with these people in Nairobi, the only one who comes out outside General Badi, who's got the interest of the Nairobian heart, is Beatrice Delachi. And I don't understand why she gets a lot of hatred, people throwing stones on her side. And in fact, what she wants to do is sticking with the rules of law and order in the management of Nairobi. And in my view, we must go back and ask ourselves, how did we get into this trouble? We got into this trouble, or we got into this mess, when President Kenyatta indicated to us that please elect Governor Sonko, and I'm going to deliver. Now, because Governor Sonko is not delivering, it's still the responsibility of President Kenyatta to come and clean up the tables. So President Kenyatta is cleaning tables by giving NMS the opportunity to deliver, but you get, cartels, people engaging in catfights coming left, right, and center. You see Elachi wanting to deliver, you see cartels blocking her. So the big question is, who are these cartels? Who are these members of these cartels that General Badi right now is unable to crash, or indeed President Kenyatta is unable to crash? Is it not the right time for President Kenyatta to call out these cartels so that we crash them?
Let me go to Mark Bichachi very quickly on this. Mark, this has been quite persistent, the row between the county clerk and the speaker, Beatrice Elachi. Do you think it has anything to do with a bigger battle for Nairobi that you have been discussing here?
Ben, it has everything to do with that particular battle, and you can see Sonko's hand in the MCAs, you can see Sonko's hand in even the central bank account changes by the Sonko-appointed CEC, and you remember what issues were around that particular position of the Chief Officer of Finance and the CEC of Finance, when even the likes of Dr. Makodingo were put in the papers in Sonko trying to push them out. To make the matters worse, this particular former clerk was never sworn into office. This is someone who was seconded from the National Assembly. This is someone who then went ahead to resign from the National Assembly without talking to the County Assembly. This is someone who the County Assembly has legally replaced through the legal process of appointing clerks. This guy, his process was not the usual process since he was in secondment. This is someone, again, who has been proven, even by the letter from the ESCC, to have received millions of shillings fraudulently from the county government. This is someone who has shown himself to be in direct opposition of the same county assembly that he works for. He came back from a trip, went to the court and issued anticipatory orders of him being discriminated against. There is no such thing in the law. This is someone who a lot of MCAs have complained about the harassment that he's gone through. But of course, You've got the axis, and I call it the Sonko axis, which has become quite eloquent in defending the indefensible. It has become so eloquent in trying to explain how they can't meet during COVID, but also they will not address the issue how the sergeant at arms at the county assembly has had his gun taken away, but they go into the county assembly with guns. Some MC also need to explain why they're defending this particular county clerk when they know it is because of his money and his corruption that they're driving the cars that they are. So this is a marriage between the Sonko axis, the people who want to continue acting corruptly within the county assembly, and on the other side, Beatrice Elachi, who's simply just trying to do the right thing. Because my question is, who here would fault any speaker of any county for having gone through the due process of appointing a county clerk who is duly sworn in?
All right, let's bring in, because of time, Mark, let's
to the House.
Okay. All right, Ben, very quickly, has the governor, does he have anything to do? Is he an interested party in what's happening in this particular case in the county assembly?
Of course, the governor is an interested party in anything that happens in the county assembly, because the Nairobi City County Assembly is a part of the larger Nairobi City County, and the governor depends on the assembly not only to facilitate legislation, but also in their constitutional role of oversight. But Ben, I've been resisting this temptation, but allow me to register my shock at the levels of ignorance that people can choose to present on national TV. And I'll highlight two specific issues. Dismas is here telling Kenyans that Speaker Elachi has been on the front line trying to enhance the quality of life of Nairobians. And I have a list of things. Elachi, as it stands today, comes off as the face of impunity in this country, and I'll give you why. On April 2nd, Elachi actually presented before the Nairobi City County Assembly, and it's a good thing we have a sitting MCA here, a budget that up to this date she has never told people who authored that. That was against the County Governments Act and against the Public Finance Management Act. These developments you have seen specifically about the clerk. The law is extremely clear in terms of how clerks of county assemblies can be recruited. I don't know whether anybody, even including this due process that Mark is insisting on TV here, can he give us documents to show how this process was undertaken up to the point whereby somebody was sworn in from nowhere? A sitting and a serving auditor in the Nairobi City County government was quickly, within 15 minutes, sworn in as a clerk of a county assembly. How outrageous can that be? We have a case here of a speaker who has chosen the path of impunity, whereby she has zero regard for the rule of law. She wasted the whole 2 months for the people of Nairobi with that budget circus, to the point whereby it had to be nullified. It had to be nullified by the Attorney General. So the governor is keen, and the governor's interest would be a functional assembly that plays its role without this kind of arm twisting or intimidation, especially on members, because Nairobians, and one thing that we really must be able to give to Governor Sonko is telling everybody just follow the law. It is not expensive, it doesn't cost you anything, but ultimately we ensure that the people of this county and to a large extent the whole country actually receives the services that they deserve.
30 seconds only, Mheshimiwa Kiragu. Have the final say on this thing.
Yes, I would like first of all to respond
very
to
quickly.
Bichache, who seems to be Speaker Elachi's spokesperson, and I'm surprised that he has so much details about the operations of the county assembly. It is interesting that he's not telling us that this is the same Beatrice Elachi who flew first class. First class is the Queen's chambers in the aeroplanes. She is the same Beatrice Elachi who gave a receipt to be paid by the county assembly for some cosmetic surgery that she did in the US, while purporting to be in another state, millions of miles away.
I would like to have such a conversation when she is present.
Yes.
All this is public information, of course. But just wind this up.
Yes.
Just tell us what the Assembly's view is on this.
Yes, I would like to remind her and remind Bichache that it is not the Speaker who is supposed to appoint a clerk. This is not, the Speaker is not, does not have the constitutional mandates of a governor. She cannot appoint a clerk. That is the work of a board, a board which she sits in. If she's the only one in the board who decides who the clerk becomes, it's a pity. Whereas all the board members decide no. It is interesting, and like we've had Ben saying, that she must respect the rule of law. She must respect court orders. She's in the same assembly courtesy of a court order. We impeached her following the law, and she's back with a court order. Ngwele is back with a court order. What is the difference?
Kipchumba, give me your final thoughts on this, very quickly, 30 seconds.
Ben, there is a danger when we allow men and women to grow so powerful and bigger than institutions. Why do we have EACC if when it communicates we cannot abide by it? Why do we have courts when they communicate and they give orders, we cannot respect those orders? It is for that reason that men came together to form a government. Ben, there is something that we must say and call it out. Elachi is misbehaving the way she is doing because I'm told in one corner she brandishes the name of Raila Odinga, in another one she brandishes like a sword the name of Uhuru Kenyatta. Elachi cannot grow bigger. She at some level must respond to an oversight. Who oversights Elachi? She can't be bigger. She can't say where somebody to sit. No, we cannot allow handshake babies to grow bigger than the institution this country is.
All right, let's take a quick commercial break here on Inside Politics on KTN News. Many thanks for staying with us. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we shall be speaking about the continuing crisis inside this Kenyan Senate over the failure to pass the County Allocation of Revenue Act 2020. The handshake team has been rattled. In fact, Jubilee has been blackmailing the minority side that if they do not help the government pass this bill on Tuesday, then Jubilee will pull out of the BBI. What next? Stay with us.
This is KTN News.